Hi, welcome back to Tables Rule, the amateur woodworking aficionado podcast. This is a nice one.
I hate you.
Thank you.
So much.
Dungeons and Dragons.
There's still something clicking over here.
That's okay.
I don't know what's going on.
It can keep clicking.
All right. Anyways, welcome back to Tables. I'm Warren, again, here with Rigsby. And Jay.
Warren.
So, first question
what's up?
of the night. This is a good one because you've DM'd at least once or twice, and you've DM'd one of my favorite campaigns that I've ever played. I plan on, this is from a gentleman named Tanner. I plan on becoming a dungeon master for my group of friends, and I'm planning on building my own world and stories. Any tips or pitfalls I should avoid?
What, in building the world or in DMing?
Just in general?
Just in we'll just go with DMing in general.
I had an example from when I was talking to my buddy Alaric the other night, who's DMing a campaign right now. I'm going to be vague because I don't know if any of his players watch this. So he's trying to get them to do one thing, and they didn't want to go do the thing. And he came to me and said, well, I need them to go here because it's sort of where all the stuff in my story is.
Right.
And I said, well, if they don't want to go there tonight, you can't railroad them without making it like overtly obvious that you're like, no, go here. No, go. Look at the flashing sign that says go over here. Guys, go the fuck over here.
Right.
And in his campaign, he has 3 powerful objects. They found one. The second one is where he wants them to go. I said, what's the third one? He said, oh, I haven't thought about it yet. I said, you can come up with the third one and give them an alternate route right now that you could just railroad them down another lane. And he was trepidatious about it at first, but here's the thing. If you're playing D&D with someone and you don't want to go do this thing, that's obviously what you should do, but like your character doesn't want to do it or you just don't want to go that way, if you're offered any other option, you're generally going to be happy with the second option.
Right.
Yeah, true.
And their second option was something cool like a robbery.
The basic rule in DMing any campaign, whether it be 5e, 35, or D20 or whatever, it's don't put yourself in that situation to where it's like, okay, I can't, my guys, the party won't go down this path. I need them to go down this path to complete the mission or to further on the campaign or whatever. Don't put yourself in that corner. You know? If you're building a world, always have 3 routes that they can choose, and if you want them to go down a certain path, don't make it obvious that, oh, this is the only path you can go. Yeah, it's like, oh, here's a one-way street that you can go. You can't go over there because it's a 50-foot drop. Like, build it to where it's like, oh, here's a bridge. You have to cross this bridge to get over to the other side, or you have to take this boat to get over to the other side. You
told the story about the old lady, right? From the campaign you ran?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my favorite thing. That's what Warren was talking about that night, because you guys talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
My character was a paladin. That's what got it really going. And that's the thing that I was yelling at my phone about. You desecrated our friend. My character was a holy good guy who was mad you desecrated our friend. And then I killed an old lady because of it.
And I remember you asked me, well, that was really easy. Well, she's an old, decrepit old lady. Yeah. What do you expect?
But as a DM, you had one thing completely planned for us. We were like talking to like a minion of the big bad evil guy or something like that. And you let me play for 3 hours because I was mad about this old lady desecrating our friend. That's the sign of a good DM right there. You didn't get mad about it. You went with it, and it didn't amount in anything because it shouldn't have amounted in anything. I was just mad at a lady.
It just extended the campaign.
Yeah, it was just one free night of goofiness where we got a little bit of EXP and nothing else, and then we were all happy to go after the storyline that you gave us.
Rigsby?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's basically what you said is like being prepared. Yeah. Like if you come into a session with like one encounter or like one basic idea that you want to do and they don't want to do it, you're just kind of shut out of luck is what it comes down to. Because like, I mean, when you're DMing, you're not playing against the players, you're the storyteller. You're there to like create a world for these people to move through. And like, yeah, if you want to have a story that you like, or an endpoint that you want them to get to, that's all well and good. But if it's not interesting, if it's something they don't want to do, then they're just not going to do it.
Yeah, they're going to find another route, another way, another thing to do in the world.
So I think that's another point is like, you have to make what you want them to do something interesting or something that appeals to them.
And the way you said it a second ago, that's the most important thing to remember for any DM or any player. That's important too. None of us are working against each other. Like
except the DM.
No.
Sometimes DMs are out there.
The DM should never be working against the players. To be a good DM, you should throw things at the players that are bad things. You're telling them a story about a bunch of monsters that they have to fight through. Of course you're going to be throwing bad things at them. But the goal of this game, the reason this game is awesome is because 5 or 6 people get to sit around in a group and tell stories with each other. Yep. And the DM should be trying to move the story forward. It should never be a DM versus players situation. The sketches that we make and the way that our DM acts in those sketches is a joke. Like, and I know there are plenty of times in the real world when there have been dickhead DMs and plenty of dickhead players who just want to fight against the DM. But that shouldn't be the goal. The goal should be everyone sitting together, having fun, telling a story, getting to play this game that we all like. And for everybody out there, because we're on the internet, I was about to say if you know what Reddit is, but we're on YouTube. Everyone knows what Reddit is. Go to the subreddit RPG Horror Stories and don't be like any of those people. Because those are DMs that are killing players who piss them off. Those are players who are actively trying to attack other members of their party. And I'm not even getting into the gross stuff that some nerds get into. Yeah. But this is it's a collaborative storytelling game, and a lot of people forget that. It's my favorite part of it, that we all get to tell a story together.
So we're going to dig into some emails.
Emails! Do we have a theme song yet for emails?
No, not yet.
Emails! There you
emails.
Go. We just did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That one little... We harmonized beautifully, Warren.
We did. It was wonderful.
Not at all. See? Bad DM right here.
Yeah, exactly. No. It's like good improv.
Yeah.
Yes, and.
Yep. I will 100% agree with that. Mm-hmm. So this email comes from...
just because you're about to say the email. It is improv, and it's a good way to trick people into doing improv who don't want to do improv. That's kind of a bad way to put it.
That's very true. That's a good
It's a bad way to put it. But all we're doing is sitting around making up a story off the top of our heads. It just doesn't have the whose line is it anyway framework that a lot of improv shows do. Yeah. But it's sitting around with your friends playing improv.
I would love to play D&D with Ryan Stiles.
I would love to play D&D with Colin Mockery.
Yeah.
We need to make all of these things happen. Colin.
Yeah.
Get at me.
Yeah. Come on, guys.
We gotta be more famous than we are now.
Well, I mean, they're doing like tours and stuff, so like we could.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Just hit them up when they're in Jacksonville again.
We've worked with improv groups.
Just because I'm the producer doesn't mean I can actually get that shit available.
I believe in you, Warren. Yes, and.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes,
Anyways, so this one's from MacGyver.
Ooh. I'm not going to make the same joke Justin made because I already heard him make it.
So what is your favorite use of monster and enemy outside of a combat encounter? Which monster and how was it used and why?
Like, I want to talk about another podcast because it was the best use of a monster that I've ever heard, and it's just shamelessly plugging the Adventure Zone. Oh. It is. I know. The most popular... Their use of Clarg, the bugbear, is the funniest shit that I've ever heard. Because they mind-wiped a bugbear into being their friend, and it stuck.
Oh, God.
So just throughout their campaign, this random bugbear keeps coming back and helping them. And it just cracks me up the entire time. If you have one from a personal campaign, I'll try to think of one from one that I've played, but that was the first one that jumped into my head.
I honestly can't think of one. Like, I'm totally blanking on that.
Okay, well, what's a monster? We'll put it in this term. What's a monster that you like to use? That's your favorite go-to monster.
I always DM weird rule sets. Like, I don't know that I've ever DM'd a D&D game for you guys. I've ran, like, Firefly and D20 Modern and weird shit. Reavers were fun in Firefly. I can tell you that. They technically didn't attack anybody who was playing.
That's true.
Because one of our producers, won't name which one, liked to sleep through campaigns at that point in his life a lot. So after the third session he slept through, a bunch of Reavers ate him.
Oh.
Because we were just sick of him not showing up. That was fun. It's okay. My characters have been killed in the campaign. Ooh, your character got killed because of my character one time.
Yeah, well...
Oh, yeah.
That was the Star Wars thing. I think you guys talked about that, too.
A little. So, a little backstory on that. We were playing Star Wars campaign. We were all bad.
Remember how I said I don't like the rules? Never even made a character sheet for this campaign because I was a droid. So I was like, you guys can just fix me. It's fine.
So, anyways, we were all Siths, and I wouldn't be just as strong as Justin and
Justin's
someone
character
else.
was my master.
And one of the players that was playing with us, he made my character not as strong as everybody else because I didn't know how to. At this time, I was still new at playing.
And Star Wars rules were weird. The campaign
the rules were weird. Oh, yeah. And I wanted to be just as strong as them, but he purposely didn't make me as strong. And so when I went to do something that they would do, that everybody else is doing, I got punished for it really, really bad. Like, I got...
So Warren's mad, and then we got done with a battle where my robot, my droid, was just a ball of scrap that Justin was using the Force to carry alongside of him as we walked back to the ship. And I don't know why Warren did.
You were still able to talk.
I could talk because I got to say one of the funniest things I've ever said during a D&D campaign in a minute.
He said something.
Oh, I didn't. I forget what I said, but at that point. But you said, I take the Force and I just start slamming Jay off of the ceiling and the floor, and I got to go.
You said something to me.
I did say something smart-ass to you. I don't remember what that was.
And it was a smart-ass remark, and something that I would have done if I was an asshole. If I was a Sith, I would have been like, ah.
So I got to go, ow, 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 master, master, help, 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 ow, 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 ow. And then Justin said the words, I swing all 4 of my lightsaber blades at his face.
Yeah, and he killed me.
And since that was early in your D&D campaign, that was when your temper was still around, too. You were mad for the rest of the night.
I quit.
You did quit that campaign?
I quit, and I left. And Justin was like, you can just re-roll a character. I was like, no, fuck this.
I know. We all yelled at you because you wouldn't even, give us hugs goodbye or anything. You were just like, no, I'm going home.
Yep, which was, around the corner.
Yeah, and it was fine. 2 days later, you were golden, and we played D&D again. But you were mad that night.
Well, I mean, it was all because of... my character wasn't as strong as everybody else's, and we all had the same stats.
Yeah.
What
was the original question? What monster do we like using?
What monster do you like using? Yeah.
I like beholders. I just think they're cool looking.
I think for me, it's the normal, shitty monsters I love using.
Skeletons and zombies and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, skeletons and it's goblins and orcs and stuff.
I use a lot of skeletons in some of my campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because those you can use as an army, it's something good to use in the background as background story. It's oh well, you're going here. Well, this is happening over here. Yeah. There's an orc army just destroying everything. But no, if you guys want to go and dungeon crawl or whatever, I guess you can do that. Everybody's dying over here.
In one of the new monster manuals, they actually have rolled up stats for a bar fight. Yeah. That cracks me up. That it's just you walk in and instead of 8 different characters, there's just stats for a bar fight. So there's a bar fight going on, and you can jump right in and start punching it. I know, it's great, isn't it?
You walk into a dungeon.
There's a
wild bar fight.
A wild bar fight. It's a wild Eefy.
I want to see a Pokemon sprite for a bar fight.
God.
It would just look like a little cloud with fists and legs coming out of it like in an old cartoon.
Star Wars Christmas special RPG, yes or no?
Yeah. Hell yes. I'd be one of the...
God.
I want to be Chewie's kid.
Oh.
Wait, no, the
That's
grandpa
just
was a
disgusting.
pervert. The grandpa Chewbacca Wookiee. The grandpa Wookiee was a pervert because he was watching like the nudie films on the VR display, but then when the kid comes over, he tries to hide it. I'm ashamed to say I've seen that movie more than once.
Wow.
And I don't even like Star Wars that much. Like, I dig it, but I'm not a huge Star Wars fan.
What?
I'm fine with that. I already said I don't like Dragon Ball Z on this channel. I think I'm
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
golden.
You did. That's weird. You're weird.
Avatar The Last Airbender, Samurai Champloo, Afro Samurai. I like some anime. Avatar counts.
All right, well, do you have any questions for me?
Do I have any questions for you?
Well, I search for
Like
more...
about D&D or just in general? You're an interesting guy.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years, Warren?
far away from you.
Oh. Does that mean
very
he's not going
nice.
to work for the channel or we're not going to work for the channel?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, I see.
I think we can take him.
I do too. He has more training, but there's two of us and we're both
Yeah.
chubbier.
Oh.
That's true. We've got weight behind us.
Wait, no, we'll make it a beard growing contest, Warren.
Oh. You're a dick. I'm Asian, so I can't grow a beard properly.
I don't know. I've seen some like pretty wicked Asian beards.
Yeah, man.
I can grow a Fu Manchu.
Can you
Like-
do the shit like the dude in Kill Bill?
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
I was gonna say like I know it's a fake
It only
beard.
grows right here.
Yeah, but it was still cool.
You know how long that would take me to... no, I can't do that.
Literal years.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll call you when you're like 50. Be like, hey, man, how's the goat coming?
Yeah,
Pretty sure
how'd it go?
I'm pretty sure I'll still be in the military.
That's a good point. They'll be like, you still can't
Oh,
have
yeah.
that on your face.
Well, no, I'm 30, 33. I'll be... Yeah, I'll be retired by 10 years at that point. So maybe I'll have a beard by then. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't have any more emails. I can't find them. That's great.
Uh-oh.
Should we go to Yahoo Answers, just talk about the McElroys a lot during this episode?
No.
What's a campaign you've always wanted to run?
Besides your 1920s one that you're so excited about. Because you didn't always want to run that. You got excited when you rolled 26 or whatever.
I would like to roll a Western because I either a Western or a World War II because I love history and I would be able to bring in actual historic facts that I know happened around that time frame.
The first actual like tabletop RPG I ever played was with a couple people who lived in the same building as me when I was in like middle school or high school. It was just a nerd couple that lived in the building. And I think it was Badlands or
Deadlands.
Deadlands.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first one that I ever played. And that is a very well constructed cowboy campaign. I think there's some magic in it.
It's a very well constructed cowboy you got there.
I think there's a little bit of magic in it, but you could probably eke that out if you needed to. But like I played as a snake oil salesman. And instead of dice, I could use a deck of cards for my rolls. Like there's all kinds of cool rules that help you basically play Red Dead, the tabletop game.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Like, as much as I love, the mythical creature aspect of D&D, I'm a real big fan of D20 Modern because of how simplistic and how crazy you can
Is that your favorite campaign that I ever ran, the D20 one? Yeah,
'Cause,
that was fun.
We played as what? The oldest person was 16.
All right, so
Let's get into this.
let's get into this if we're going to talk about that campaign, because that campaign came from a fun place too. We had just gotten done playing a holy Pathfinder campaign where everybody had to be good alignment.
Yep.
And then we played Firefly where we were all essentially good. Even if we were kind of scoundrels, we were still good guys.
Yep.
And everyone in the group wanted to play bad guys. So I said, all right, let's roll a D20 I'll run a D20 campaign. And I think I'm the one who said you guys are orphans.
Yes.
So everybody was like under 18 except for Justin's character.
Justin's third character.
Okay, but there was someone who was over 18 at the
character.
start. Maybe Hunter?
Hunter.
Ethan's
yeah.
Ethan's brother, Hunter, was over 18, and he got out of the orphanage, and the rest of them were going to run away.
But he, like, because he stopped playing with us halfway through the session.
We just needed that for the first campaign, like for the first session, so someone was on the outside. But I assumed that since they were going to play bad guys, but they were kids, they were going to run away from the orphanage after dark. Instead, they killed 3 people in the lunchroom, didn't run over a dude's head with the truck, but tried to.
Yep, because Kurt was driving.
And
couldn't see over the steering wheel. That's why.
Because he was like 12, because his character was so young. Eventually in that campaign,
Justin's characters.
They started selling.
Justin lost 2 characters.
He lost 2 characters because the first one was like the prototype of Zork. It was a fake drug that we made up for that campaign. And Justin and our friend Kat were selling it in a strip club. And Justin OD'd on it.
Yep.
And that same night, we're all standing outside taking a break from the session. Justin walks up to me. Everyone in this campaign is 18 or younger, mind you. Justin walks up to me and goes, "Can I play like a 35-year-old homeless Russian guy?" And I had not stopped laughing before I said yes, because that's amazing. That campaign devolved into a Yakuza Russian mob war with you guys stuck in the middle of it.
Yep.
Because we decided to end it. That's why I threw the Yakuza Russian mob war out there. I tried to kill everyone, which is against everything I just said a little while ago about the how to be a good DM. And still, nobody except Justin died. Everyone else walked off into the sunset. Don't You Forget About Me played as the credits rolled, and Justin's Russian is laying there dead. It was horrible.
Yeah. Yep.
It's amazing.
It was great.
That campaign was fun. There's a lot of stories from that campaign.
So,
were you the one getting
about
it?
you?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, like a campaign you'd want to run.
A campaign I'll tell you about one I tried to run that only went for one session because nobody showed up, and I would like to do it again. I found a set of homebrew Pokemon rules online that was pretty extensive.
That was like 4 years ago.
That was a long time ago.
That we wanted to play that. And we've been talking about it on and off since.
Yeah, the rules are still on some computer or one of my old phones or something like that. But it had rules where your trainer had one set of stats that influenced how you could train the Pokemon, and you actually would start with a starter, and it was super complicated, but if you had a bunch of people who genuinely liked Pokemon, you could probably get some really cool stories out of it.
Nice.
And I didn't do anything else with it because there was only like a session and a half, which was literally the only thing I remember is that, was it you who hit someone with a fish?
Yes.
Yeah, you started with a
did I start with the Magikarp?
Magikarp.
Yeah.
And during the Pokemon battle, everyone described how their Pokemon attacked, but Rigsby just picked his fish up and hit the other Pokemon with it.
Yeah. I used
forgot about that.
The Monty Python school of Pokemon training.
And you like beat the shit out of Ethan's out of like Ethan's Eevee or something like
that. Yeah, I literally beat the shit out of it.
He was really mad. So yeah, I'd like to actually run a Pokemon campaign. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I wouldn't mind doing another Firefly one.
Nice.
Because that one was when we were all playing like 5 nights a week and everyone was drinking all the time.
Yeah,
and we didn't keep track of our sessions that well.
Yeah. So I told you I want to run at some point a Redwall campaign.
A Redwall?
Redwall.
What is Redwall?
It's the series of Brian Jake's books about mice and otters and shit. You've never read it?
Is this like Mouse Guard?
It's like Mouse Guard, but it's been around for a very long time.
I'm sorry, you didn't tell me the otter part before, and I just thought of the last episode.
Oh yeah, otters.
Jane's nickname for me is Otter because of that reasoning. Because her nickname is Koala.
Is that like a?
It's just because she goes like that.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if that was a thing or not.
No, there's no terminology in the gay community for koala.
So go ahead, Mouse Guard, Redwall, got
like Mouse Guard.
Yeah, no, it's essentially like that, but I've always wanted to run something in that vein where you're like small animals, so like the dangers are it's like cats and stuff.
That's cool.
Or what you're like trying to fight instead of dragons. It's like a big ass snake.
That's a fun idea,
dude.
Yeah. Are they books or comics?
They're books. Actually, they're this books.
Oh my god,
books.
How convenient.
Yeah, it's one of the things that made me think about it.
Stewart. Kind
But yeah, like that. Oh my god, you killed the dragon.
He's alive.
You're gonna get so much loot. Yeah, but that's something I've always been interested in. The whole idea of that.
That'd be kind of. I'd play that.
That sounds really
because
fun.
it's everyday creatures, not mythical or anything like that. It's just
Essentially.
because you're a small creature, everything's so much bigger.
Yeah,
so
but it's like mice with swords.
So giants are like humans.
Yeah, essentially.
Nice. Humans would be like titans.
Just play like a Secret of Nim campaign or something like that.
That'd be fun.
All right, yeah. All right, so found some emails.
Found some emails.
And we have a little bit more time. So worst type of players.
I will say I'm sometimes guilty of this, but min-maxers. Anyone that just like finds every single thing they can find to just max out their character and make them the best at like either everything or just like even one specific thing.
Yeah.
To where it's just totally broken. Is like it sort of takes the fun out of it for me.
Because they're just munchkining the campaign where they can just get through it as easy as they want.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of leaves everybody else in the dust. It's like if you're playing, like, I'm playing a lot of Anthem right now.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, if you're, like, level 10 and then you're running with some guy that's, like, max level and they're just killing everything and, like,
kind of boring.
Yeah, it takes the fun out of it because then it's like, oh, well, what am I going to do? I'm just going to hang out back here and watch you kill everything.
And if your character's perfectly designed, like, that's like speedrunning a video game to me.
Yeah.
Like, it does have its goals. Like, I bet if you got a group of min-maxers together, you could throw
that could
horrible
be fun.
shit at them and they'd have a ball.
Definitely.
But it just seems like a different kind of gameplay to me. Like, we've referenced this on the podcast before when it wasn't us, but the 3 types of D&D players. It's all about imagination. It's all about math. It's all about both.
Yeah.
That's these two out here trying to get along with each other when there's a min-maxer in the rest of the people's campaigns. I just don't like confrontational players. Like people who want to argue outside of character. I have no problem if 2 characters don't like each other, but anybody who gets real mad over this game and it doesn't go away after a few minutes, I can understand being mad because your character died. I can understand getting mad because you didn't win a campaign. But the people who, like you 4 years ago when we were all partying and staying up all night all the time, who like would just walk out, you wouldn't do that anymore because you've grown since then. No. I know people who've been playing D&D for like 15 years.
And still do that.
Who will still be like, I don't give a shit about this. I can't believe you killed my character, all that stuff. And they sap all the fun out of it because they make everyone else at the table awkward.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like those guys are trying to be cool and they forget that we're all sitting around playing pretend knights. Because that's essentially what we're doing.
Yeah.
I just talked about how I want to run a Pokemon campaign. We're not having cool hobbies here. They're fun.
Last question. Does players voicing their characters using accents or just acting as their character, bring their character to life, right, add significantly to the game, or is it something that should be applied or taken away at some points in time? Like, are there like take Justin for example, from the Firefly campaign, right? He was constantly.
What was his name?
I don't know. It's in.
I'll remember it. Go.
So, anyways, do you like it when players use accents and bring their characters to life, or is it distracting?
Oh, no, it's never distracting in my opinion, unless you're horrible at doing the accent. But generally, people who are horrible at the accents don't want to do it while they're playing a game. Like, Chaz on the Wii Play is a perfect example. That fucker switches between characters and you know who's talking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Before he says, "This is Verena." Like, you know which one of his characters is talking. That's helpful beyond measure. And Justin in the Firefly campaign, because Justin played a companion.
A Southern Belle companion.
A Southern Belle companion.
Male.
And he was bisexual, because since I ran that campaign,
that's right.
when he told me, he said, I want to play the character bisexual. I said, pardon the pun, but you have to play it straight. Like, you can't make a bunch of jokes about it. If you want your character to be bi, be bi. He goes, that's exactly what I wanted to do. He got information from, like, a general in one of the Alliance ships because he rolled good on seeing if he knew anybody on the ship. And I was like, yeah, that dude used to hire you. Walked over there, made friends with him, just talked to him. That voice made that character, in my opinion, because he's, oh my God, it was so funny until it quit being funny and you were just listening to the character talk.
Yep.
He does the same damn thing with Crom. Like, Justin's good.
Yeah.
He's good at voices because he doesn't do anything for Crom except go like this. That's all he does for that character voice, and it's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, that's realistically, that's the biggest draw for Critical Role.
It's a bunch of voice actors.
It's a bunch of voice actors. Like, that's what they do, is they all have created these characters and they all do these
adaptations.
Really well done voices. Mm-hmm. So I think it adds a lot to it. Again, it can be kind of distracting if it's overboard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was going to say that's why I don't usually do voices a whole lot, but it's really because I'm not that great at it. Like,
but see, even sometimes overboard, it really depends on who's doing it. I know I'm harping on Chaz, but Verena would be infuriating from a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
And he knows exactly where to rein it to be that crazy character and still not just scream into the microphone the entire time he's going.
Which he's done a couple times and it hurts.
As we've all talked about how great character voices are, they're not a necessity. You don't have to do one at all.
Yeah.
Like, if it makes it, like you said, you're not that good at doing voices, so you don't do them. Because if you had to do a voice, you wouldn't be focusing on half the stuff in the campaign that you probably want to focus on.
Yeah.
Versus, like, Justin, Chaz, and me, even though I don't really have a voice for Karath, except making my voice deeper, we'll just kick into them, and we're not having to focus on them. So it's up to personal choice. They've never annoyed me as a DM or as another player. Like, I've never had a problem with them.
Yeah, I think the point we're kind of getting at is if you want to do voices, do voices. If you don't want to do voices, don't do voices. Yeah. That's fine, either way.
Very simplistic answer there, Rigsby.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I'm good at.
All of the answers that I want to give, I keep trying to frame them around, don't make people scared of this hobby.
Yeah.
Because
everybody... It's a very good...
everybody who's played D&D has talked to someone who's had a DM that made them never want to play D&D again. Yep. And it's always the same exact story. It could be all sorts of things leading up until right here
me to do something
when the DM goes, you can't do that. Or they forced him to do something they didn't want to do, which means their first time was playing with a shitty DM. And it's a first impression thing. If your first time is playing with a bad DM or a bad group, you're probably never going to want to play D&D again. It's like that with everything. If you see a shitty pro wrestling match, if you see a shitty car race, if you read a shitty book, it's going to turn you off from those things.
Boom. And we'll go ahead and end there on this
Did you
episode.
just boom me?
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom.
Vape drop.
That wasn't really pointed at you. It was to emphasize you.
Oh, boom.
Boom. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Hey.